In this video, we are discussing 4 key filmmaking habits. If you incorporate any of these into your creative process, it basically guarantees that you'll be able to build on whatever you did this past year in 2024 and take it to the next level in 2025. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Austin Meyer. I'm a documentary filmmaker, National Geographic Explorer, and on this channel, I share the field-tested skills, mindsets, and lessons that have helped me on my journey as a documentary filmmaker. So let's get into it. The first habit that has helped me a lot in my career has been committing to regularly finishing and sharing work. When I first started out in my career, I was a video journalist at the LA Times, and then I went on to do a fellowship at the New York Times. When I was working for news outlets, the timelines and pressure were set up for me. I had editors looking over my shoulder, I had deadlines to hit, and that meant that I was forced to go through the cycle of story creation a ton of times. If you think about a story cycle, we have finding and possibly pitching a story, getting access and building trust with those featured in the story, scheduling the production, going out and filming the story, editing the story, getting feedback on your edits, finishing the story, distributing the story, and then getting the word out about the fact that it is out. This is the cycle. For some documentarians, you might just want to develop world-class expertise in one part of that cycle. Or if you're early in your career, if you're a solo creator, or if you're like me, and you love doing all parts of the process, you want to get as good as you can at all parts of the cycle. Whichever one of those people you are, your level of ability comes down to how many reps of that cycle you can get. How many times you can start, mess up, and finish anyway. How many times you can start, have a problem come up, solve the problem, get it done. How many times you can start, feel like everything is hopeless, and then get it across the finish anyway. That is it. I'm sorry to tell you, there is no shortcut, there's no hack. So like I said, working a job in a newsroom, I got those reps without even thinking about it that much. But then when I went freelance back in 2017, suddenly no one was giving me a deadline. No one was looking over my shoulder. And on one hand, that was great. That was why I went freelance, so that I could be free of that and be free of a lot of other things about the industry that I didn't want to be a part of 24/7. But on the other hand, I lost that critical structure that was helping me develop. So I had to create my own structure. I committed out loud to friends, family, on social media that I was going to start putting out videos every week on YouTube. And at that time, the channel looked a lot different than it does today. I wasn't making educational videos. It was all about just putting out a video every week, no matter what it was about. I just needed to get reps. And the videos are still here on this channel. You can see where I came from, what my skills were. Every week, I put something out. I told stories about wildfires hitting my hometown. My heart sank as the stories of devastation started to emerge.
We have been covering this breaking news since 11 o'clock last night. There are wildfires burning in at least 5 counties.
I profiled a security guard who watched over the train tracks after a string of suicides in Palo Alto, California. I told the story of the first ultra marathon I ever ran.
This feels so shitty.
And I interviewed people at a retirement home about their first kiss stories.
K-I-S-S? Oh.
I don't even know if that can be filmable.
It goes a long way back.
Oh,
The first kiss, like I had a million kisses.
None of those stories are on my website today. None of them are ones that I look back on with pride because of how beautifully crafted they are. But I absolutely look back on them with pride because when no one was watching, when no one cared, and when no one was paying me to do so, I was out there practicing, trying hard, getting reps of that story creation cycle. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for Austin's efforts back in 2017. Committing to finishing and sharing work is not something I stopped in 2017. Here in 2024, I committed to publishing a new educational video on this channel for 52 weeks straight. And with this video you're watching right now, that is what I've done. So as you move into 2025, join me in committing to getting more reps of the cycle. Commit, tell people about it for social pressure, because if you don't have some deadline you feel accountable to or some person you feel accountable to, the daunting nature of the blank page or empty timeline will conquer even the most disciplined documentary foes. Creating great stories is not an event, it's a practice. So let's develop that practice in 2025. The second habit that will set you up for a great 2025 is to finally work on that weakness you've been avoiding. All right, so this one is a funny one for me, coming from the world of journalism and documentary to now getting hired to supplement that income with big commercial projects. Here's what I'm talking about on this one. There's this huge divide that I see in the world of filmmaking. On one side, you have people who, like me, develop their skills and their personal aesthetic in the run and gun type of environment. The one man or one woman band running around doing the best they can with the very little that they have. And these people are people who like things raw, authentic, messy, scrappy. These are people who love story, emotion, and who thrive on chaos, unpredictability, spontaneity, and responding to whatever is thrown at them moment to moment. Then on the other side, you have people who develop their skills and personal aesthetic working on big productions in Hollywood or in the commercial world. Maybe they worked their way up from being a production assistant and now they're working on their own projects. These are people who love things polished, dialed. They live for the beauty of each frame and know how to use every tool in the tool shed to craft it. These are people who want to know the call sheet, to have plenty of time for setup, and they thrive when everything is going perfectly according to the plan. For the longest time, I was in the first of those two categories, and I had so much pride and ego wrapped up in that. Early in my career, coming out of journalism grad school, I actively pushed against polish. I said, I don't want to get external lights or learn how to use them. I'm all natural. I don't want to learn how to direct subjects in a scene or plan things out or create a call sheet. Now, I said I didn't want to do those things because it wasn't my aesthetic. It wasn't what I wanted to be great at making. But deep down, the truth was that I was scared to learn, that I was comfortable in the scrappy run and gun style. I felt like I was good at it. And I didn't want to get uncomfortable. I didn't want to be a beginner at something I sucked at. Fear was driving me, and I lost a lot of opportunities because of it. Eventually, jobs started to come my way that gave me no other option but to learn that polished skill set, to learn how to build sets and direct people and run a well-organized, detailed, goes-to-plan production. And I had to learn as fast as I possibly could. I was stressed about it. I was scared I was going to mess things up. And in that moment, I wished I had just started to develop these skills earlier. But no, I had to let fear and ego drive me. So as we head into 2025, don't be like I was. And don't be like the polished filmmakers who shut down completely when things don't go according to plan and they suddenly need to improvise. Actively work on your areas of weakness this year. Move towards the thing you're insecure about. You don't have to become an expert in that style of filmmaking, but becoming more comfortable there will unlock so many opportunities for you. Because the truth is, the best documentary filmmakers out there, the best commercial filmmakers, the people who can really turn this passion into a lifelong career, they can do both. So start now, seek out opportunities or set up your own shoots where you get to expand your range and expand your comfort zone. The third habit is to create a regularly standing filmmaking social event. Even though filmmaking is typically a team sport, it can often feel like a lonely pursuit. I can't say enough about how vital building community has been in my career, and how it's something that I personally want to double down on in 2025. Having community not only makes what we do more fun, but is also great for skill development and business. Documentary film productions are made up of small, tight-knit crews, even at the highest levels. People want to work with friends who they trust. So it's literally one of the best business strategies out there to go and make friends. Now, when you think about building a filmmaking community in 2025, there are a few ideas that I would recommend. First, see if there's already something established in your area. One group that I'm a member of is called the Video Consortium. The Video Consortium is a global nonprofit that connects and supports the world's nonfiction filmmakers and video journalists. This is not sponsored, just letting you know. It's an awesome resource for you to check out. There are Slack channels, a website with tons of resources, and there are also local chapters that host in-person events. So screenings, happy hours, and professional development workshops. These in-person events aren't happening in every city, but it's worth checking out if they do happen in yours. Either way, plugging into an ongoing community network at events like Video Consortium or something else is a great place to start. Beyond that, see if you can gather some friends of your own and be the host of an event. Maybe it's a documentary viewing night where you watch a movie and then break it down. Maybe it's just a hangout. This year, my girlfriend Zoe and I hosted bi-monthly events called Salons, where we hosted friends for dinner and had structured conversations around certain themes. And in 2025, I plan to host my local filmmaking friends for Works in Progress nights, where over a home-cooked vegan meal, each person shows 5 to 10 minutes of a current work in progress. My goal with this is to build friendships, get inspiration from other people, to build the habit of showing unfinished work, to get feedback on my projects, and to have a dinner deadline that people can aim for to finish a particular scene or project they're working on. The last thing to note on this idea of having the event be regularly standing, I love this idea of having something set in stone every so often. So weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, whatever works for you and your group. But having something set in stone means it just takes the planning part out of the equation. And we all know that that is where most things get dropped. So just take that out. All right, let's build some community in 2025. And finally, let's talk about the fourth habit that will set you up for a great year of filmmaking in 2025. And it might be one of the most challenging. Focus. Get into states of deep work. Documentary filmmaking is very challenging work. It requires planning, complex pattern recognition, long hours of filming, editing, crafting. You know what I'm talking about. If you're going to do habit 1 this year, committing to finishing and sharing work, getting a bunch of reps, you can't do that without focus. And yet everything around us these days is set up to distract us. So how do we get more focus? It's a great question, and I am trying to develop my capacity for focus and deep work right alongside you. That's why I enjoy learning from an author and researcher named Cal Newport. Cal Newport is a best-selling author, and I've read multiple of his books, including So Good They Can't Ignore You and Deep Work. So here are 2 protocols that he has shared around getting into a focused state of deep work that have been helpful for me and where I want to continue to grow in 2025. The first is to clearly differentiate your focus blocks. Newport says that when you're working, you have to imagine an on-off switch. When the switch is on, you're doing something that requires focus, and when it is off, you're not. And you have to have a simple set of rules for how you treat focused work. The key rules being no distraction, no email, no Slack, no phone, no web browser, no email. Having a clear differentiation will right away make a big difference. How many times have you been working on an edit, doing challenging work? And so to give your mind a break, you pop on over to check your email. It happens to me all the time. What Newport says is that if you don't clearly have defined time for focused work and stick to your no distraction rules, you will always have a constant fight with your mind around, should we check email now? Should we check that latest Instagram post, see how it's doing? What about my YouTube comments? With focus blocks, you don't have these internal arguments. The only argument you have is, do I respect the focus rule or not? In 2025, I hope to continue structuring time for focus work and sticking to those rules. And the other protocol that has been helpful from Newport is to use a focus space. So just a different place you go to do focused work. Very simple. If you really want to bring this to the next level, don't bring your phone. And if you're working on your computer, deactivate Wi-Fi. That's it. Simple ideas, difficult to execute. But if you want to make more films this year, if you want to expand your skill set to include the elements of filmmaking that you feel are your weaknesses right now, or even if you want to have that quality time with community, all of that, we need focus. So let's find more of it in 2025. That's it for me. Happy holidays. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in 2024, and I look forward to seeing you in 2025. Until then, go out and tell some stories.